Are humans cruel, irrational, and self-destructive by nature? Are we predisposed to chaos and madness? Do we require an outside force to regulate us and to prevent us from extinguishing ourselves? Well, Dr. Ye Wenjie thinks so from the three-body problem. In today's three-body problem video, I will be focusing on additional ethical analysis of Ye Wenjie's invitation to the Trisolarans. This will be supplemental to my previous more in-depth video regarding this event. This video will be centered on human nature and its relation to Ye Wenjie's invitation to the Trisolarans. So without further delay, let's just jump right in. Oh, and obviously, heavy spoilers ahead. Given that it is what prompts her to invite the Trisolarans and humanity's subjugation in the first place, this will be an exploration of her pessimistic concept of human nature. So firstly, while I argue that Ye Wenjie is ethically wrong for inviting the Trisolarans to conquer Earth and humanity, please see my previous video, I likewise argue that she is well within her rights as a scientist who relies on empirical evidence to retain a pessimistic concept of human nature. Ye Wenjie represents many of us when we lose hope at how horrific humanity seems. She embodies a fundamental distrust and cynicism towards humans. And who can blame her? She watched the Cultural Revolution and the chaos of that period. She watched people humiliate and murder her father merely for being an academic. She was asked to betray her father by those same people that took him away from her. She watched struggle sessions and mass deforestation and human cowardice and betrayal and torturous cruelty. She was imprisoned for the mere possession of a book and held in captivity for decades. Like her father, she was demonized for being an academic while simultaneously being exploited for her academic prowess by those same people. Over and over again, Ye Wenjie observed atrocious, cowardly, and destructive behavior from her fellow humans. At their hands, her life had been one of extreme and constant suffering. In her short time, she bore witness to numerous horrors and atrocities. And so therefore, given her experience, it makes empirical sense for her to conclude that humanity is malevolent, or at the very least, prone towards destruction and cruelty. After years of observation, Ye has reached a conclusion about human nature. The issue, however, arises with respect to her response to this conclusion. While I fully sympathize with pessimistic sentiments towards human nature, I think by inviting the Trisolarans, Ye Wenjie embodies the same self-destructive behavior that she condemns. Rather than oppose the unethical behavior that caused her to be cynical, she joins in, which maybe just underscores her point that humans are destructive and incapable of saving themselves. She herself becoming an example of human malevolence that inspired her to do what she did in the first place. So anyway, I feel it is appropriate at this point to quickly address the nature versus nurture debate. To be brief and specific to our concerns, Ye Wenjie seems to subscribe to a certain concept of human nature, a very negative one. There are other schools of thought that would assert that behaviors, rather than being innate or part intrinsic of humans, that they are primarily determined by material conditions and the environment. In short, rather than humans being determined by innate traits of their biology, they are determined by the influences and structures of their environment and their world of experience. In so many words, human behavior is socially conditioned and the product of environmental circumstance instead of innate or intrinsic. According to this paradigm, the madness that Ye Wenjie sees in humanity or in humankind is simply a manifestation of social structures and influences. This madness is not innate to human behavior, but rather learned or acquired. In conclusion, it's very difficult not to see humans as naturally cruel and prone to devastation and chaos. Retaining a cynical concept of human nature carries tremendous empirical merit. I think Ye Wenjie is justified to be suspicious and afraid of humanity. The issue, however, as I've stated before, lies in her ethical response to these suspicions and fears. Does it just further demonstrate her point that she herself is a traitor and responsible for humanity's destruction? Like, does she herself become evidence for her own condemnation of humanity? Is she herself another piece of evidence for her own arguments against humans? Or is Ye Wenjie merely a product of her own social circumstances? Is all of humanity? Am I? Are you?